if you have a business partner or you're doing business with somebody, you have to trust them and they have to trust you. And Millow, I trust him. Genuine fellow, hardworking, has a drive.
Very
Beati
hardworking.
Pauli.
Genuine guy.
And a really drive. And we work well together because I'm a bit conservative and I will tell you 5 ideas. He is a million ideas. 9,999 will be shite, but one of them will get you.
Gianni, welcome to the Unbrandme Podcast.
I thank
the Brandwagon podcast that invites entrepreneurs, business leaders, CEOs, brand builders to kind of uncover the journey that they've been through and the impact that their life has had on the brands that they've built. And it's interesting because obviously you've had lots of brands that you've actually built or you've been behind or you've assisted with. We're going to get into that.
All right.
Brandwagon, we also believe that better people make better brands and better brands make a better world. We definitely think you're one of those better people.
I thank you for thinking that.
So welcome to the podcast.
Rock and roll.
John, I'm going to start off with a very tough question.
All right.
And it's fun for once to be the one talking more than you. But I'm sure that will change in a
few minutes.
In an instant.
Tables will turn.
That's that. John, you are, and I had to write them down because there's so many. You're a son, a father, a life partner, an investor, a business partner, an entertainer, a musician, DJ, presenter, compere, Kiss memorabilia collector.
Rock and roll.
Those are just roles. Who the hell are you, Gianni?
There's actually one DJ. I don't DJ anymore, so you can remove that.
Yep. Ex-DJ.
I think I'm just a person, living my allocated timeline on this earth amongst many others. I don't feel any different or any special than anybody else. But it's a tough question because I when you look back, say, who am I? I don't know how to explain it. I'm a human. Period. I just try to make the best out of my time over here. I try to enjoy everything I do. In fact, if you mention all those, they're all stuff which I love. I've never done anything which I never loved. So it's just, that's what I am.
And I think that's a really interesting way of approaching it because
it's a tough
obviously
one as a start, as an opener.
It's a very tough one, and I will start off with that because the others are going to get tougher as it goes. So good luck. What I love about you, John, is that I've known you for many, many years.
Yes.
Now I'll tell you how I got to know you as well. But I've known you for many, many years. And what really intrigues me about you being a larger-than-life personality is that your life, the persona you have on stage, the persona that you have in a meeting, the persona that you have as a compere, and the persona you and I just chatting in my office a few minutes ago before we came here is exactly the same person.
Yes.
And that is admirable, and it's also extremely unique.
I find that weird. I thank you. I find it weird because nobody creates, because even you, let's be honest, you are you. I don't think Peter, Brandwagon Peter is different to Peter, Eclipse Peter.
Eclipse Peter, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Band. Because I see that as the norm. I found this something which I remember when I was a kid. Find something you love doing and get people to pay you for it. So, Minem, the premise of do who you are, do what you do. You don't need to go away from what your character is. For me, was always that's the road forward.
And that is fantastic because the reality is that we spend so much time working with businesses and brands to help them find who their authentic self is. And what you just said obviously has a lot of brand wisdom, life wisdom, if you wish, into it, because the reality is that so many people build all these layers up to then discover that they've just created a bit of an impasse for them to get themselves out there. And then it's about peeling back the layers to find out who their authentic self is. And you've just managed to do it from day one.
The authenticity for me is key. I mean, even when you sit down, we talk to someone and all, business or not business, you look for the real person. I don't see what this persona is. I want to see who the person is, because that is where you communicate.
Yeah.
How I feel, at least, even on business wise. For me, any business partner, any business venture, if I don't feel the person, people smart, be authentic. Yes, okay, business is business. Sometimes you have to I don't.
You have to make it work.
But you have to make it work. But if the connection of it on the human level isn't there, I cannot see that working because it's not natural for me. I want to be human with somebody, and if we're ping ponging both ways, it can work. And obviously, honesty is my dad taught me one thing. He said, respect you earn. You cannot buy. And once a person has respect. And respect comes from there's the authenticity, and also if we're going in for something, it has to be a win-win situation. Yeah. I can't screw you over and all. For me, the respect is the hashtag RSPCT, to drop the vowels. That is key, Ali. Yes, yeah. And that is what I look for, and hopefully that's what people find when we're not necessarily business stuff, on all levels of life.
But John, as you said, respect is earned. And it's key because I've seen you, over the last, people know how old you are now, so it's fine, we can say it. But I've admired you over the last, 30 years, if you wish. You have always worked to try and build that connection with people. And for those who don't know, in my previous life when I was a singer, and Gianni was the entertainer and the musician, and you were so brilliant at connecting with the people, out there on the crowd. And whilst I've seen a lot of musicians try that, very, very few people manage to connect in the way that you connect with them. And that comes with, I suppose, an element of being extremely self-aware, but also aware of the feelings of the other people in the room. And you managed to have, today, we talk a lot about empathy. You have that level of empathy where you can understand how you're going to connect with that person at the back of the crowd and the person at the front of the crowd and play a song which is going to make them move.
Knowing your audience is key. Obviously, we have the famous 10,000 hours. Both you and I have done them. So when I might read the 10,000 hours makes you good at something, you learn as you go along. But if you come from a good place, the road is going to be smoother.
Yeah.
If you're in an artificial spot, your 10,000 hours are going to be a struggle. So even again, I've played to empty rooms, where there are two people and say, listen, this has to be your Wembley gig for them because otherwise they're gonna go. So I don't know. I just feel I'm a socialite. A social whore is the word. I love being around people. I love eating energy and giving energy, and I love making people smile.
Yeah.
For me, those are the pedestal that I've built on. I love entertaining. Am I good at it? Great at? That's not up to me. I just love doing it. No, till now, time has said that.
Clearly, you've been successful at it.
Exactly. But I just love it.
Yeah.
I love people smiling. I love making people with a smile with me or at me is irrelevant as long as they smile. I just love that. So in all the stuff we do, be it radio, be it team building, be it the events, there's a good 90% of time people are smiling and enjoying what they're doing. So that's already giving you it's showering you with energy, with positive vibes to keep on doing it. And if a lot of the things are all, I very rarely venture out of what I know. So I will not be investing in cars. If it's a good business venture, potentially. But normally it needs to be something I need to connect with to see that I understand it and it has the good vibes around it.
Like Kiss and guitars.
Kiss and guitars. Kiss.
Talking about what you just spoke about, I really enjoyed listening to your podcast with John Malia. Kudos to John. Okay. Well done, podcaster John. And you did mention that at a very early stage in your life, you focused on that concept of, if I manage to do something which I really enjoy, then I'm never going to work for one day in my life, the old saying. But this element of you really enjoy making people feel happy was something that you mentioned, which to me really struck me. And obviously I've been knowing you for a while, but it's still... that is it. That is what makes Gianni.
I never studied any of this. Essentially, when you're young, it's just call it a calling, call it whatever you want. So again, I never looked for it. It wasn't something. Okay, what am I going to do in my life? It just came to me. So
you realized you were good at it, and you did what you enjoyed.
Yes, I think more than anything, one thing which always scared me when I was young is I don't want to wear suits. I hate wearing ties. So I said, whatever I'm going to do, try and find something that doesn't involve suits. So my dad was a banker, a phenomenal guy, Nejiki bħali, he always used to make people laugh a lot. But he obviously loved banking, but for me, I just don't want to wear a suit. So that when you're growing up, when you're 13, 14, that's where I got into music. I decided I want to be a musician. In fact, I remember telling my mom clearly, I think I was about 12, Form 1, 13-ish, saying, Mom, can you get me a guitar for my birthday? Show me a guitar. For sure. I want to be a rock star. Because, you have that age, you're seeing your Iron Maidens, your Kisses and all that. And the lifestyle was appealing. But I think it was more the crowd response that I wanted more than the lifestyle, because I never was into coke and hookers. So the lifestyle, it's the entertainment element that, man, these guys go on stage, and people just smile at them. And obviously there's women, but people just smile, and that is what kind of always gave me that.
But you were a very shy kid.
Super shy.
So I mean, to make
but
that
super
break.
shy within in the women context. No, I was shy. I was shy. I was very kind of reserved when I was younger. Then 12, 13, anka l-iskola, I was quite a not one of the cool kids, but not a nerd. The in between. Yapped forever, but not a nerd. But
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
What,
40 years ago when you were at school?
I was haché. So I can't say.
No, you did. Just did.
Sorry. I used to become a teacher's pet, but not in a nerdy way. I know everything.
But you see what I mean? You've always worked the room,
Yeah. And then the teachers would let me get...
the balance of power was, you understood it, and you played the political
subconsciously,
of course.
I never knew all this.
Sure.
No, I never said, I need to get to know...
Fair enough.
Never.
You never had the evil Machiavellian...
Yeah, no, there wasn't any planning like that behind the scenes.
Okay, let's jump into the business side of this, because fundamentally this is a business and branding podcast. But before that, it was about 1993. I was a big fan of Green Day, but I couldn't afford buying their CD. You had a DJ set on Island Sound Radio. Whatever happened to that? Great days. And I was there with one finger on play, one finger on record, waiting to start playing the song. And obviously, just to create my mixtape.
Yes.
So as soon as I had, press record and play.
How did I ruin it for
Waited till the very end of the song. And towards the end of the song, Gianni goes, and here I am ruining the song for everybody who's recording it. And at that moment, I said, this guy, as much as I hate you right now, that was really entertaining. I wish I can still find that cassette. Because I kept it and I laughed at it every single time I heard.
I remember that, but I don't remember the instance. But I remember...
You used to do it a lot.
Because I remember recording, listening to Rolling Stones and recording on Radio Malta. That doesn't mean we had a 3-in-1 and listening and you record. And when sometimes DJs used to fucking talk throughout the whole intro and the outro, I was like...
In fact, I wonder whether this sign was actually from pressing record and play at the same time, rather than maybe it was the other way around. So that's kind of how I first heard of this Gianni, and you had a real way with the radio. So that was one of your first jobs, no? Effectively,
yes.
So let's
that
talk
was 92.
About. Okay, 1992.
That was 92.
Yeah.
I had already was always a bit entrepreneurial. Is that the word? Entrepreneurial. Again. Without knowing, it was never.
So walk us through the business life of Gianni.
So my first business venture was organizing these gigs at home.
Okay.
So we'd dress up with Kiss makeup.
This is pre-WOG.
Oh no! I was 13, 14. Okay. My sister and my neighbor Dion would put Kiss makeup on with mime. We'd had this kind of wood, a guitar-shaped cutout. Jason Fabry, chubby, used to have a kitchen stool and the Dixon, and those were drums, and you take the front of a fan, hang it off a string, that was a symbol, and we'd put kite paper, hide the record player, and Carlo Aragonese would behind there playing songs, and we'd just miming, and I'd charge people 5 cents to come and see us, and I think it was 2 cents for orange juice, and my mom would be in the kitchen making orange juice.
$3.50 with inflation today.
Yeah, and we used to buy, I used to get, maybe 4 of us, we used to get 20 cents each out of it, which equated to 4 packets of calciatori. Because back then, that is business.
There you go.
That was my first, what
That's
I call
how you
business
start collecting
venture.
as well. So
And you start collecting as well the
see,
bug.
we're just tracing back the patterns.
Oh, no. Psychologists can just tick all the
Check.
boxes. Yes.
Yeah.
That was the first business venture.
Okay.
Because that was the first time I kind of made money out of my own energy. Then it was
Group leading. Now you used to
Group
organize
leading.
parties.
Group leading is my mom got me into that.
Yeah.
Little did she know it would open Pandora's box.
Or maybe she did.
Or maybe she did. But that got me out of my shell. That really got me out of my shell, the group leading days. But then from that, it's kind of group leading was paid to organize events.
Yeah.
That was our job.
Yeah.
And that's where I got the organizing bug, though. I said,
Okay.
I like this, coordinating, putting stuff together, making. That's why I really like that. Radio, and I used to mobile disco. So there was always the love for music and the love for organizing and women. And I think I just married those 3 concepts because Gianni Pescio at university was the kind of a stepping stone of, we started organizing events, successful events with
Very
your
successful
friend,
event,
Jonathan Shaw.
Previous
There was
guest.
Kiko, and Pesh, Ramon, and Gianni Kiko, Gianchi, Pesh and Shaw, Pesh Shaw. And then I put a fish in the middle because it was Pesh Shaw.
Check.
That's how the logo came to
That's
be.
the branding. I still have a sticker probably somewhere around.
I still have some running
There you
around
go.
there. But that was, again, it was not nothing wow. But it was
Well, it was significant.
creating a brand. And Gianni Pescio, when you look at it, Gianni Pescio, what kind of name is that? For party organizers, which had nothing to do with any side of the junkie, because we were the cleanest of promoters, the most commercial. I think Panadol was the biggest drug that ever made it into our party, from my talking. But, I look back and say, we created something. We had the logo, then we had the notepads, and the people would get the stickers put on the car.
And you were amongst the very first promoters, if you wish, of organizing
Yes.
parties, as opposed to people just heading up to a club or a
Yes.
disco or whatever. This is where people started to follow you, because you used to have stuff in Meleha, you used to have stuff in Rabat, you had pretty much launched.
We weren't,
that
I don't
years,
think
no?
we were the pioneers, because there were some other people who were doing it at Axis. But it was a university group. We gave ourselves a name.
Yeah.
And I still remember clearly, literally, we used to print letters of what's coming up, and you write in 1,000, and it's Peter-Jan Grech, and you took the blue on the envelope, because that's how we used to promote.
Oh, wow.
Posta, sticker stamp to 1,000 letters. You send them out saying, listen, in 3 weeks' time we'll have a party, because there was no
There's a
social
lot
media.
of, of course.
The posters at university, I used to draw them, collages, and you hang them up at university. So it used to take me a day making collages, kind of drawing the poster, and you stamp it. So one-offs. And then the photocopier came along, so we started the ugliest flyers in the world. A4, you cut in 2.
Yeah.
Pescio, Jack Daniels, 441, Tattingers. And you just go out giving them out at university. Beautiful, because it puts you in touch with the people.
Yeah.
And that is where I think that's where I learned knowing your audience, which is my first line of my thesis was know your audience, because you're out with the people, you're there, you're the pulse,
which has worked so hard for you in
which and then worked in entertainment, worked in business, and all. It's there. You have to know your audience.
Of course. I think it is the essential part of everything, especially within the branding world. That's what we do now.
Yes, but you guys obviously do it on a much bigger.
Yeah, but it still starts from that.
Yes, no.
The awareness that you need to know your audience, and then knowing it,
and then
and staying relevant. So moving with the relevant times. So you then. Gianni Pescio graduated. You started a marketing consultancy.
Yes, so after university, it was youth marketing.
Ah, there you go.
I think it was the first of its kind, as in saying that we're youth marketing. So if anybody came with something a bit old, sorry, we're not good for that. Which was always very true.
That's
because John and myself said we know the younger audience. We've been doing Gianni Pescio for a number of years. The marketing was with Jonathan Shaw, Zammit and Jean. And our business cards was a target with a hole in the middle. We punched a hole. John's idea. And the hole wasn't always perfect. He said, because neither are we. So when someone goes,
by design, or it was not perfect?
No, I think it was not perfect, and then John made a story out of it.
Bravo,
but it
John.
worked. No, bravo, John. And we used to do youth marketing. So people like O'Neill, that people would come to us saying, listen, I need to get in touch with the younger audience, the younger market. What do I do? So we weren't good for if Mercedes high-end came along, they wouldn't come to us.
Yeah.
And it was a very small company. We were two of us, but we did quite a bit of work, and you learn a lot.
Of
Because then you learn a little bit of what works and what doesn't work in marketing, how you can push limits. Where I remember we had done an advert for Tower Supermarket, because John knew the owners. And we said, we have to go with something a bit different to attract. This was print in the Times, because that was your marketing. And instead of saying open on Sunday, we just put a cow, a picture of a cow, saying we're open on Sunday. Because people say, what's that? Tower Supermarket, because you can buy meat from there, because they had the butcher, which was open on Sunday. All right, apologies to all the animal lovers.
It worked?
And it worked. Because they were like, we got a lot of good feedback on this. It's very different. It wasn't Tower Supermarket, Yiftah il-ħadd.
So, know your audience. Be different.
Yeah.
We're going to finish this project with a whole bunch of lessons for everybody out there in marketing. So, WOG.
Yeah, the WOG was these
show.
students, Zammit and show.
And then what?
Then John found... I carried on organizing. So I kept on organizing events. John moved in. He went to...
went to New York, no?
No, it was before. First he worked at Virgin.
Mm-hmm,
then we went to Australia first, because I went with him to Australia.
Okay.
I took him to Australia and I brought him back from New York, because I was there on his departure and his arrival, because I flew both ways with him. When John went there and they went to New York, I started organizing events. I was organizing events for students, which was the WOG, the World of Gianni. Modest. But I always like to pigeonhole stuff. So those have to have a name. So
and as we know, their own Excel sheet.
And their own Excel sheet and everything. And their own folders.
Gianni is a very, very well-disciplined, organized.
In fact, if one had to look at this table, this edge is really driving me mad.
It is driving me mad as well, but I'll pretend not to look at it.
Fill it up with something. Then I started some organizing events for students. I met Yosef Gaffa, who is my current business partner, 25 years or so now.
What was his business called?
He had Twin Promotions. With double I.
On my phone, he's still Yosef Twin.
TWIN.
Of course. Twins.
I don't think you knew how to spell, that's why. We sat down and he told me, listen, I was obviously organizing. People would contact me. I need some acoustics for a bar. I need a roster. And I would take care of that, because I know a lot of musicians, yourself, blah, blah, blah. This man, I just create rosters for Muddy Waters, for some bars, where they say, you create a roster for acoustics. And I used to do that. And he did the same thing with bands, because he was
for Bay Street.
For Bay Street, but I think he used to help at Muddy's and some other bars.
Right, yeah.
And that's where we got talking. We got talking about, I need to book you for something. And the guy's a lovely guy. I mean...
Heart of gold.
Oh, I mean, where you say I need to trust somebody, I trust him blindly. And trust is super key in any business you do. If you have a business partner or you're doing business with somebody, you have to trust them and they have to trust you. And I trust him. Genuine fellow, hardworking, has a drive.
Very hardworking. Genuine guy.
Genuine, and a really drive. And we work well together, because I'm a bit conservative and I will tell you 5 ideas. He is a million ideas. 9,999 will be shite, but one of them will get you. And it's incredible. Sometimes when I say, let's listen to what they say. He shoots idea. Different sales tactics, different approaches. But hats off, respect, because then he'll hit then I will fine tune it. That's why we work very well. He'll shoot an idea and I will fine tune it. But anyway, so his drive is there. And we got talking. And as I do events for students, Bay Street, there was the artisan market. That's where we created events for some events. I was still doing my own stuff, my rock nights and my beach parties. And then we started creating something which was an international night we got Daniel and Sander involved, and they were doing some comedy, etc. And it worked. And then he had a contact within the DMC world, within the destination management, inbound tourism, conference and all. And they said, listen, we're looking for somebody who can offer some different entertainment. We know everyone locally. And that's how Jugs started.
So creatively, Yosef or Gianni became Jugs.
Jugs. Yosef or Gianni Show. That's what it stands for.
Okay. Jugs. I didn't know the show part was there.
Yosef or Gianni Show. Because we said we're going to put on some...
I always wondered what Jugs referred to, but anyway.
There's obviously the
But
what's it called?
moving
Double
on very
entendre.
swiftly.
So that's Jugs. And Jugs has been...
And Jugs was one of the first, no? Team building.
Actually, we did not
companies,
start
yeah?
team building in reality. This person who yourself knew had an adventure company
Ah, right.
who used to
okay.
offer a bit of team building, which team building was
Yeah.
super limited.
Budgets were also super limited.
And the concept of what team building does to your audience wasn't known.
Yeah.
I mean, your employees, I've studied a little bit, I've read a lot more than studied. You plug in, you do a team building activity, your performance of your staff spikes up. Then after a while it will plateau, start dipping, plug in something else, boop, spikes up, keeps you motivated. I've done a lot of reading about this and
It works.
It works. Starting off from a basic, which you guys, I don't know if you do or used to do, Friday 5 p.m, not till 6, 5 p.m, we all go to the bar.
FFF.
You all go to the bar. And that is team building. Tiħonnis fil-bar jġorbu. Dude.
It's changed now. We don't do the drinking part anymore because this generation are a different generation.
But fair enough. But meeting
yes,
up
same,
socially, part of your work, you meet up and just sit down and chat.
Because organizational culture is key.
Yeah.
And because your organization has been around now for 20 plus years. And how many people do you...
We obviously we built up COVID. We'll talk about that at a later stage.
Yeah.
And now we're back to where we were. So
I'd love to talk about COVID because I think
Jugs
we have a lot of lessons to share with...
COVID was, sometimes you have to control or delete your computer. That was COVID for us.
That was
The
control,
positive
alt,
side.
delete, pull out the cable, throw it out and
but
smash the
discount
monitor.
that. The good that came out of it is phenomenal.
Yeah. In fact, you've built a number of businesses after that.
Post-COVID.
So let's just quickly round off the Jugs story. Well, it's not rounded off. I mean, that's...
No, Jugs is running to today. And then I got involved with Nigel and NG.
That's right.
Nigel and Gianni doing concerts, which started
Seeing a
off as-
pattern over here.
yes. Started off very small. Nigel said, listen, I'm in touch with a guy
Who
from
was the first?
Steve Hackett from
Steve
Genesis.
Hackett, that's right. And that was at
the
Teatro.
Manuel.
Yes, at Manuel Theatre.
Actually, was Theatre Unplugged running in
Of
the back,
course.
but I was never an organizer.
No,
of
you always
Theatre Unplugged. That was
performer.
John and Nirvana. Ironically, we all sat down and discussed it. I said, I'd love to do something in a theatre, but John and Nirvana took the organization and we took the entertainment side. That worked too. But that
really
was
worked.
again John saying, listen, Manuel Theatre, it's for old people in bow ties. You need to get young people into the theatre. What can you do? Get popular acts, short pockets of them in the
That
theatre.
was fantastic. Great
ones.
shows. Yes.
So,
Jugs.
Jugs still runs today. And then G came in.
And Jugs at its peak pre-COVID. Let's talk about pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, Jugs was one of the biggest, if not the biggest. And
Well, let's say one over.
and I mean, what you employed a team of
25 or so.
and 25 misfits. Very interesting people because I know a
Yes.
number of the people there. But you've got carpenters, you've got DJs, you've got
Actually,
you had different people
we
working
had
there.
3 pillars, which were events, conferences,
All
and team
great
building.
people.
You need. We have a culture. So I believe in we employ attitude. You don't employ knowledge. Knowledge you can learn. Attitude is key.
Yeah.
So if people have to be on our wavelength, we're not a company that times get tough because when work's hard, but then there's play. And I definitely believe if you're happy going into work, you're going to deliver a much better product. If you hate your job, obviously always reflecting what I did. If you hate your job, you're not going to do it well.
Yeah.
If you're there just to earn your salary at the end of the month, I don't think you're the right person for us. You need to love what you're doing. You're going to get rewarded for it, but you need to love what you're going to work hard for it because it's not a playground. But you need to have that culture of, first of all, loving the brand. Because if you love what you're doing, you love the brand is positive. And falling back onto what we always discussed, I always wanted clients to feel comfortable working with us. I want to work with them because they make me feel comfortable. You know this, they take the headache away. One of our first things we did was your branding, the Panadols.
Yeah.
Let's take the headache
That was
away for
20
you.
years. No. 15 years ago.
15 years ago. I remember that clearly. Kudos. And that is how a company will say, I enjoy working with these guys, so I'm going to give you more business because I enjoy it. My staff enjoy it. Peace of mind. You're smiling. You're problem solvers. That is what it's all about. So the culture of Jugs is listen, we're not there just to, you booked a stage, I'm going to get you a stage. No. I want to make sure that stage is the best stage for you because every event people do is I call it the Wembley concert. It's your Wembley show. For us, it's just another event. For a person at a business who's putting up an awards night, this is something big.
Absolutely.
You have to treat it with that respect. For us, palco ġu speakers. And if you go in, mux palco ġu speakers. No. what is this event for you? Guys, this is my award ceremony, the first one we've done. Let's make it great.
And I must say, we recently engaged you guys to we just rented a couple of lights from you guys for an event that we organized. Very, very small event by the standards of your events. And one of your people showed up, who I've never met in my life, because we've kind of cut off ties on that angle. And she treated our project like it was our Wembley, and for us it was our Wembley.
Yeah,
and despite it was just a couple of lights, she went above and beyond.
That's it.
And that was great.
You have
so
to.
kudos to you for managing to. And kudos, obviously.
I was at that event, and I know who you're talking about, so I will relay the message. You have to, because you need to understand that for you it might be something small. For you as a brand, you might say, listen, I have this, I'm selling these cacti, I need to put a logo, But for you, it's just we, logo, cactus forever. You understand that logo, is going to go places, going to stay with this product for life. You understand the importance of it because you're understanding your audience. Aliyah, that is key. It might be something small for you. It might be I'm playing in a bar to 4 people, but those people have come out to see you. You're going to deliver the product. Treat them as though this is the biggest night out. Make them feel comfortable. And that is, for me, the part which one needs to follow.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. John, March 2020. Jugs
I was the
doing
first
well.
one. Ole dita ġimatej. I was the first one.
Translation, this is going to last 2 weeks.
This is a 2-week thing, don't worry.
Sure.
The Chinese, it can't last for long. That was the joke back then. It can't last forever. It was a blow. In fact, this tattoo here is a lightning bolt, which has some Kiss connotations, but it's also Sayetta.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue. A lightning out of the blue. Because in...
Lightning crashes and all the business dies, huh, John?
Life. In a span of 3 weeks, what we built for 20 years, zero. What you've been 20 years building, a team of 25 people, nothing. We're sitting in an office looking at each other, saying, guys, stay home, nothing. We cannot do anything. Mm-hmm. So
what happened? Run us through.
Because we obviously events, team building, conferences,
everything stopped.
All the market is gone. The government is saying.
What were the first things that you did?
The first thing we did was we said, listen, stay safe, stay home, let this pass. I was the first saying, listen, it's temporary. Luckily, our GM back then was Bernard, was a very medical person, and he's saying, listen, realistically, this or this could happen. It was a gamble. I think no one knew what was going to happen. So we were always, okay, let's see what happens next month. Guys, don't worry. Let's see what happens next month. Guys, after 4 months, 5 months bleeding, and we're getting clear indications. This is not going to be another couple of weeks. It's going to be a couple of months
to a year.
Taking to a year. We said, okay, we had to obviously lay off some people. We helped a lot of the people find other jobs ourselves because these are our friends at the end of the day. This is not a business. We never had levels. So I'm CEO, I'm manager. Dude, it's a flat surface. We are all friends. We're all helping each other. And you don't come with a title. I'm superior to you. No. Open office policy. Damn. You walk in, you're one of us. And say, I used to find people in my office sitting down having a meeting. Of course you do that. So normal. We said, we sat down with our staff, said, what can we do? We analyzed the market. This is where Joseph, brilliant, shot 25 ideas. 22 were impossible. 3 of them, ooh. And then I sit down and do numbers because I love doing numbers. All right, this could work and all. But we sat down with our staff and said, what do we have? So we have a props department. There are 2 people very good at carpentry. Okay, we realized that everyone's doing home DIY because it's stuck at home, okay. Some people, I need some custom furniture.
Let's do it.
That guy did not stop throughout COVID. Wow. The department, very small department, custom furniture, doing bedside tables, made to measure, stuff that you can't buy online. But it kept 2-3 people busy. We have vans. Okay, and lots of people who drive vans around. Okay, we started reaching out to supermarkets because they were struggling to get people to deliver.
Of course.
Do you need a helping hand? We can help and all. Somebody rang our bell, a friend of Joseph. I get products from overseas. I need people to distribute locally. Okay, we have the people. So we started that. So fast forward 1.5 years later, not only is Jugs back, because I think the key of COVID was, apart from the control, delete, reset, you sit down and you think, where am I? What did we lose a bit of sight over the 20 years? It was a good reset.
Yeah.
But it also created, new departments for us. So I think the key of COVID was not was surviving. We managed to survive. We lost money, of course we lost money, but we managed to survive.
Yeah.
That aliyah was key because we stayed afloat and
you
we
came back with a
reinvented
bang,
ourselves.
yes.
Because then you're going to come back with a bang. You're going to come back stronger, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So we knew that if we had, let's get through it. We can get through it. We have the people to get through it. We have the everyone's attitude, the team. We can get through it. And that was always there, guys. We can do it. And we managed to do it. Now we're back stronger because now we have 2 new departments. A new business, which was a child of COVID. The carpentry department and props has grown. We're doing deliveries. We invested in another company importing stuff. So it was a big negative, because I don't even look at it as negative. It was a big shock to our system, because somebody came and slapped us in the face. Fucking hell, But okay, I can take that. And look what I've done now. I have what to show for it. My business is bigger thanks to that slap in the face. So there's the silver lining was silver.
Well done. I'm going to talk about another tough episode in your business life, which is the journey of Vibe FM.
Oh yeah.
So Vibe FM, as we know today, is a successful radio station, one of the top radio stations.
How come you're always involved in all the projects? Because we love you.
But I'd like you to go back. I mean, obviously, you did your, a career in radio as a DJ, Island Sound, Bay Radio. Eventually, you left Bay, and then eventually you started Vibe. But Vibe, I mean, it's quite a story. I don't know if you can share that story, but also share, how you guys worked through that and how you pushed forward. And again, throughout all the slaps in the face, major slaps, you're still here and you're stronger.
Yeah. Vibe is a painful story, because on an emotional level. Vibe was I was actually offered just to be an investor. 2 great friends of mine, were all working at Bay at the time. And I had one said, guys, if ever you're looking at investing in something, both yourself and myself are interested, would like to diversify a little bit, but, and opportunity came, and we get a call saying, listen, we're planning on opening a new radio station. Would you like to be part of it? Yes. So, we're talking Terry, love the guy. Justin, love the guy. Yourself and myself, we all know each other, 100%. Within the first, so it happened. It was quite I wouldn't say risky, because we had 2 people who knew the industry so well.
Veterans and strong.
It was a sure bet. Obviously, we looked at the numbers, not as because radio is a commercial radio station. It's not as shiny as one believes it to be, not as glamorous, a lot of, yachts and all that. No, far from it. It's very hard, but
it's called a vocational business.
Exactly. Especially for the people who are
funding it,
and also when you're working there.
Right.
Radio but it's a great platform. With the numbers, I said, let's go for it, and we started the radio station within 6 months. So I called it a tricycle, with 3 kind of people. Yourself and myself mainly from the radio background, Terry and Justin. Justin passes away. It was swine flu. Big blow, because it was the person who was the driving force behind it. And we're like, what happens now? The tricycle has lost one of its wheels. It's a tricycle. It's not an 8-wheel truck. Like, ooh. Bless her, the strongest person I know, Justin's wife, Isabel, says, I'm stepping in and we're going to carry on. This was Justin's dream. This is going to carry on. And I know, said, definitely, we're going to do it.
Cool.
She stepped in, incredibly, she's quite a business person herself. It's going to work. And Terry driving the boat, and it started growing. And we're like, it was quite a blow, because first of all, on a personal level,
this is a friend of yours.
It's a friend of mine. I've been with him, working with him. Every day we used to talk at radio, and then business together every day. And out of blue, this it's not something.
No time to say goodbye is nothing.
Nothing. I saw him on one of the mornings. I'm not feeling well with a fever. I'll do a quick meeting and rest. I thought rest. 2 days later, he's an ITU. Then 4 days later, 5 days later, I was like, fuck, man. Killed you. But, Isabel came along. We've got to move on. And we moved on. The radio is growing. A few years later, Terry. And that was on a...
Terry's was a longer
process and more painful in a way because I knew Terry since 1992.
So Terry was diagnosed with cancer, right?
Terry had it was cancer. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to remember. But anyway, and that was another blow. That was, but Terry, we had time. Terry himself planned a little bit. That's where Frank came.
Planner, of course.
So Frank came in and this and that and all. Still super painful because your tricycle has lost 2 of its wheels now. But with the right people around, Terry created quite a team. Justin had created quite a team. We were there with the right people around. I think it's not necessarily succeeding; it's a survival.
Yeah,
we made it through.
John, but to make it through, you guys obviously had to put in a lot of more than just your financial and economic and management leadership. You had to fill in as friends, as counselors, as real true leaders.
Yes.
To pick up.
It's not a financial thing. No amount of money could have saved that. Let's call it a sinking ship.
And taking care of all the people around you to make sure, because fundamentally, it's people in entertainment. You're putting on shows. Whilst one of the business leaders is passing away, and you're trying to entertain people, whilst knowing in the background.
Yeah. No, it wasn't an easy time. I mean, even I put myself, because I was on air as well.
Of course.
Yeah, I have to go on air next week and make people smile and laugh and say jokes. Where I've just lost, in a span of 3 years, 4 years, I've just lost probably a bit more, 2 of my friends. At the end of the day, I think there were no masks because everybody was very honest about it. Everybody knew what we were going through.
Yeah.
So there was no, we're perfectly fine. No, there was none of that. Guys, even with the team, we're dying here. We're physically, we're emotionally, we're drained. But I think the love towards the product, not vibe towards the industry, the radio, respect towards those people who put in so much. So I want to see that legacy carry on, and that's where it was. We have to move on with it. This has to work because Justin and Terry wanted to work, so it has to work, and it worked, and it's working well. And obviously, the key people coming in, understanding where we're coming from, appreciating the fact that because there were times where it was like, guys, this is crumbling. Bear with us. We're going to go together. Let A and then out. We're going to make it, guys. It's going to be fine. And they're telling us, it's going to be fine. We're going to work. It's going to be fine.
John, to quote another song, the show must go on.
Freddie.
And I see that, people within the entertainment industry, people who are used to going up on stage and giving a show, there's a certain amount of discipline, there's a certain amount of consistency, but there's also a certain amount of instigating the self-motivation, creating all that, grabbing everything that you're feeling right there and putting all those emotions and projecting it out there onto your audience, in a way fueling up this. I mean, surely your showmanship, your entertainment, your musical career has had a huge impact on who you are today and how you engage and how you put on, on the businesses you've built.
I think fundamentally it boils down to what your character is. So yes, I have learned that I've had days where I've had with you headaches, the runs, fever. You're on stage, you have to. The show must go on. I mean, again, incorporated into part of the act. The guys, I'm going to hit in the high notes because I'm going to shit myself right at high notes. So, there it is. All right, I'm laughing. I feel you, but you're there giving me everything. I think that is mirrored in many other things. Being honest, I think it's been mirrored in many other things. So comparing the playing on stage to what you do in the business is very similar at the end of the day. The show must go on. Put your heart and soul into it. Do you love what you're doing? Yes. You want to make it succeed? Do you have things holding you back, slaps in the face, kicks in the nuts? Yes. Rope them into your character and move along with them. And I think fundamentally that is what I mean, inti tiġibni fiha kważi. On certain aspects when, life sends you curveballs. Curveballs.
Yep.
All right. You kind of swing a bit accordingly and off you go with it. You have to learn how to adapt and keeping in mind, again, the ultimate audience out there. Obviously, you need to look after yourself to be able to deliver. You need to look after yourself. It's always a two-way relationship between you and whatever brand. So if you have a brand, it needs to look after you, but you need to look after it. So you need to look after yourself. I think on a human level, and then I believe I can take 5 punches in the face simultaneously. The 6th one's gonna knock me down. So if things align negatively, and sometimes it happened, I had long conversations with some people who were going through a bit of a rough time. So listen, when some things line up, it's not you. It's 4 things lined up and punched you. Human, you're not possible to take 4. Let's fix 1. So 3 you can take. It still hurts. Let's fix another one. 2. All right, now you're strong now. Now you're back and you can punch them back. So when things align, sometimes it's not, I am useless. Why is it happening to me? It's, guys, the stars are lining a bit negatively sometimes. It happens, Let's try and solve a few things. I can take 4 punches. The 5th one's going to kill me. But let me make sure the 5th one's coming. Let me avoid that. Now I need to fix this one. And let me fix it a step at a time. And I think the human brain, soul, mind, spirit is incredible. I think we're all underusing our capabilities, because I think the human soul is a phenomenal piece of machinery. But if you tackle things in a way which it toughed dik id-daqqan, okay, put that aside, let me not concentrate on this, you get through everything. The resilience is, you need to be a resilient person as well. You cannot give up. Oh, ġiet ħażina. Not my fault. The world is screwing with me, and I'll do it.
But to quote another song, I get knocked down,
but I get up again.
That discipline, I think, is a key thing. I know you well enough to know how disciplined you are as a person. I know how careful you are as a person. You don't drink, you don't take coffee, you don't. The gluten part's a separate thing, but
that's I used to. I miss it. No, discipline is discipline. I mean, on a personal level and also in business, you have to be disciplined. I am OCD, which I think got worse. I think helped a little bit, because I will not, as business entrepreneur, you have to take risks and all. My risk has always been very well calculated risks.
Yeah.
I am not well off enough to say, because I believe money makes money. If I have €1 million, I say, I'm going to test this business venture for 10,000, it's not going to affect me. But if I have €10,005, and I'm going to test this business venture for 10,000, that can make me or break me. So my risk has always been very calculated. I do my homeworks, as somebody once had told me. I like doing my numbers, and whatever I do, small, it could be, let's say, riskless, but I will still sit down. Look, I need to have a clear picture.
Yeah.
Saying, because if this is, then you take the risk. So I have a clear picture. There is a risk element over there. I think I won't take it because I'm confident, but I will not go blindly into anything. And that is where a bit of the OCD kicks in as well. That I need to have things aligned. I can't just, which is maybe not great for business, because I know many business people have succeeded like that, but I know people who have failed as well.
It's interesting. We're seeing a real pattern of all the people I've interviewed on this podcast. There's a lot of people who, it's all about being well calculated and knowing your limits, and also ready to push them just a little bit.
Yes, you have to be able to push them.
Get out of your comfort
zone.
zone.
Within them, you're going to contain yourself, and you need to push a little bit. But there are people. That's it. There are people who have made it, risk it for a biscuit, and they've succeeded. But then there are also people who failed and lost everything. Yeah. And I don't want to be somebody who. That's why I don't gamble, for example. I earn my money, man. I mean, I'll go out for fun and have fun, but
John, I'd love to ask you another 10,000 questions, but
I told you I'm going to talk a lot.
We've hit the mark. So there's probably going to be another episode of this. But John, before we go, I told you there was going to be one last final question. And from you, I'm expecting a lot.
Oh, no.
The song, the soundtrack of your life, what is it?
Mela. My obvious is, I once thought, I said, what song would define me? One song. There isn't one. I think it's 2, 3. But they can be medley together.
Compilation.
One, I have to go for Kiss.
Okay.
Kiss have been
Fair
with
enough.
me since I've been 10 years old.
If you didn't.
Kiss have been with me since I was 10, 11 years old. Been a Kiss fan, number of years. So Crazy Crazy Nights has to be there because
طيب.
I've had a great upbringing. I love my life, past, present, future. Crazy Nights. The Crazy Nights nowadays are
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock in bed. Netflix. But that's great. But, you know, so that's one of them.
Okay.
So that I think if I had to, can I
Song
triangulate?
one. Yeah, we
Song
can.
one.
We can. Fair enough.
The other one is not many people know this. One of my favorite ever songs, ever, is an 80s song by Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love. Musically, it's brilliant. Lyrically, it's brilliant. And that is the soul side, you know. You have to sow the seeds of love, you know. The Beatles. And in the end, the love you make is equal to the love you take. So, yes, it's reciprocating. It's a two-way traffic. You sow the seeds of love, and you're going to live in a field of love. And the third one, Aretha. What you want? Respect. For me, man, respect is key.
We've got 3 lessons there as well.
That's the 3 songs to give you a lesson. Live crazy, sow love, and respect.
I'd love to see you play those 3 songs
in one
after
medley.
each other. I might be disappointed, but I'm sure
you
you'll
will be
impress me.
disappointed. So I won't do it. I'll leave them on my triangle.
Fair enough. Let's not throw them. John, it's been an absolute honor.
Time flies.
It does.
When Gianni talks.
Gracias.
My handshake. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.